Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's June 22nd, 2024, and today we're going to talk about how to safely identify materials that you're bringing in for your gardening projects for amendments, whether it's compost or leaf mold or leaves or grass or hay or aged manure, or even if you want to just test your soil on your property. I'm going to give you some ideas about things that you can do. In the video right now, I'm about to turn the leaf mold pile, and the first thing I did do, because our ground is so rocky, I went over and grabbed a little bit of our sand that I excavated out of our canal system previously, and I'm laying that down just to prevent so many rocks from getting remixed back up into the leaf mold as I turn it each time. So I'll go through that process as we're going about things. But I often get questions about different harmful chemicals that we're exposed to. Everything from persistent herbicides that can be in the compost that you purchase or that you create yourself, or chemicals in the materials that you're bringing onto your property, whether it's wood chips or leaf material, or it could be aged horse manure. And there's chemicals that we have to think about that get attached to the leaves as well. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, really tiny molecules that are incomplete combustion byproducts that break down and they adhere to the leaves, and the fungal organisms are the ones that break it down in the fall time. And we enhance that ability by aerobically decomposing the leaf material and creating good leaf mold. Now, leaves, when you just leave them sit in a pile, if it's a very large pile, it can go anaerobic, meaning in the absence of oxygen. The microorganisms consume the oxygen that's available and deplete all of the oxygen, and the material that you're left with is an anaerobic byproduct. And that's not the healthiest thing for your gardens or for your food forests, those sorts of things. So being able to mix it, if at all possible, is very advantageous, because you're getting the oxygen in there, you're distributing the water, increasing the moisture content throughout the whole area. I'm doing this in real time with the track loader. This is the Hulk, a Takushi TL12 V2 track loader, or skid steer, tracked skid steer. Yes, I'm very blessed. I do have heavy equipment that I can use to do these procedures, and it really does help out quite a bit. That's really been a fantastic advantage for us. But because of questions that I get about what to do about these harmful chemicals that are in our garden materials, I wrote an article on our website, so it's at mindfullivingsanctuary.com. It's a Squarespace website, and so people are becoming much more aware of forever chemicals, glyphosate, or Roundup, atrazine, PFAS, these forever chemicals as well. And so what I decided to do is write a quick little article to give you some general guidelines about how to get started. For example, I had one question: geez, how do you know what spray has been used on the leaves that we've gotten? Well, it's right around the corner from us. I know the guys from the town, and I know that they don't spray the herbicides and pesticides on the lawns there, and there's lots of weeds there. So by source verification, ask the supplier whatever materials that you're getting. Establish a relationship with them as well. If you're getting it from a nursery, are these organically certified? Look for materials that are certified organic if at all possible. Doing visual inspections. Nothing beats a visual inspection. Check the leaves. Is there any discoloration, spots, burn marks, any of those sorts of things that would indicate chemical exposure? The hay or straw that you're getting, is it uniform in color and texture? Do the smell test as well. Like manure, fresh manure should have a natural earthy smell. Any strong chemical odors whatsoever should set up a red flag, so you don't want to be messing with those materials. But that smell test really is a good test. It should smell really nice and earthy if everything was done correctly as well. And if you got questions, so there's people that will purchase land, or they'll lease land, and they don't know if the farmer used pesticides and herbicides to grow their crops before, or you don't know what sort of material was there before. Could there have been hazardous waste there as well? So what you can do is do some soil testing. You can gather small amounts of material from several places as well, and have that sent off for laboratory testing. The other things you can do is do a bioassay test. So you grab small amounts of it, and you go ahead and pot up some of the fast-growing plants, your beans, your peas, and see how well they start to grow in that material. Mix the suspected material with the potting soil in a pot with the seeds, water it, observe it, and see how well it's growing, and compare it against a control like a good potting soil, separate from that you've purchased, that that's certified organic. So you're just looking for stunted growth, discoloration, distorted leaves, any of those sorts of things that would indicate harmful chemicals have been used. You can consult with your agricultural extension office. We have Oswego County Soil and Water here that helps out. New York State's very good. Most states have an extension office that can help you out as well. Our university, Cornell University, has testing available as well. So if you want really precise samples, like for instance, of some of our plants like black rot in grapevines, there can be nutrient deficiencies in the soil that make them more susceptible to opportunistic infections like a fungal organism. The other thing is, observation and use. You need to do it in small samples in different locations on your property. Do small areas and do tests. See if there's any signs of distress or abnormal growth patterns, that sort of thing. And then keep records. That's really important. Develop relationships with your suppliers. Make sure that they're on the up and up with you as well. So what are some of the common herbicides that you should be thinking about that can cause leaf curling and yellowing or stunted growth? The different herbicides, the pesticides, they can cause leaf burn and spotting of it as well. And so your persistent herbicides, and those are the ones like slicopyrilide, aminopyrrolide as well. So those ones are used by farmers. They're considered just regular good herbicides, but they persist even though they've gone through the herbivore, the cow or the horse, and they're in the manure. You may be able to see the sensitive plants, just how much it damages them as well. So those are all things that I would be thinking about, and so I wrote that up as a brief little article. Feel free to add to it if you'd like to. The whole process is very, very important, that we need to take the responsibility in our own hands and not rely on someone else entirely. So all of those things, your own observation, your own little tests and all, just like I've talked before about doing your own soil tests on your own location to see, geez, how good is the soil? What sort of microbial activity do you have in your soil? So the slag tests, water tests, percolation tests, all of those things can be very, very, and certainly microscopy if you've got some skills using a microscope as well. So I just wanted to mention that we created that article, and at the same time just show you in real time. It takes 10 or 12 minutes for me to turn the pile. I'll end up turning this pile again probably next week, which it won't generate as much heat. You can see some of the evidence of heat, which looks like smoke or vapors coming off of it. It's just over 100 degrees, so this is not thermophilic composting. Thermophilic composting is when our temperatures, we're maintaining them at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And that will help to kill pathogens and devitalize seeds, so there won't be weed seeds coming up. So since we're not at those temperatures, if there were pathogens in here, they potentially could still be viable. And as you can see on the other side of the pile that I'm just finished turning here, you'll see that there are some grasses and weed seeds starting to grow up in the pile of the leaf mold that we did over the winter months and all. So next week what I'll end up doing is taking the pile that I just repiled or turned and tried to, and if you notice, while I was doing the whole process, I was jiggling the bucket and trying to break up any clumps at all. That helps to distribute, it allows good oxygenation, good moisture. Everything gets redistributed as we're doing the process, as we're turning it properly. Really fluffing it up, letting oxygen and moisture get in there, not letting too many places get too warm. I always start at the perimeter of the pile, go all the way around the perimeter of the pile and take the stuff from the top of the pile as well, and turn the outer part into the inner part, and then the inner part goes on the outside of the pile. And that works out pretty well. And with a piece of equipment like this, you can see it works out pretty darn well. Right now I'm just dressing up the ground around it as well. I'll probably lay a little bit of sand in the spot that you see where I'm going over to now next time when I go to turn the pile that I just turned, and then I'll turn the pile that's a finished leaf mold pile and a little bit of compost mixed in with it as well. I'll turn that again just to devitalize all the weeds that are growing there. So I'll let them grow for probably close to another week, maybe a full week, week and a half. Those will get, all that outer part of that pile will get turned into the inner part, and all of that green material will get broken down again inside of it. The pile that you just saw me turning, that will be utilized again for inoculating the leaves that we get this fall from the town, from the local cemetery as well. So I hope this all made sense. Please feel free to check out the article on our website at mindfullivingsanctuary.com. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Give us a thumbs up if you found this of value, and share it with your friends. Take care now. Bye-bye.